Nerd Vengers! I'm on my way. Woo! Good morning! On my way to the tower. I hope you're doing well. It's gonna be a good stream. Lots to get into today. Crazy Star Wars rumors. This isn't usually the case. We don't usually have this kind of a thing going on. Normally it's all Marvel all the time. Marvel rumor this, rumor that, Marvel. And also, if the Moon Knight trailer happens to drop, we're scrapping everything and we're going to cover that. So that's just where we're at. But there are wild things being said out there in the rumor mill when it comes to Star Wars. I want to break it down. I want to... Oh, God. There was a bird feather that flew in to the helmet. We got to get that checked. It's crazy birds. I also want to talk just in general about Book of Boba Fett, man. A lot of people still hating. I want to talk with you guys about it, see what you feel, and get into all of that. We'll save time, as always, for Q's and the A's, and the Meme War 2022 rages on at thedenofnerds.com. I'm flying in. I'll see you in a second. Woo. Let's get it. Feel the power. What day is it? Thursday. Almost done with the week, baby. Hope you guys are doing well. I want to start by talking about Book of Boba Fett, okay? Let's start there. And also, smash like on the video. I haven't looked at the like count because I don't want to ruin my vibe. So I'm feeling real good. And I feel like if I look at that like count, I'm going to get furious real fast. So don't fucking do it. Smash the like button. Look, Grandma should be up and spry, ready for it at this point. You know? She probably watched all of Cobra Kai. You're probably going to move to slap her up, and she's going to wax on, wax off you. It's all good. By now, she's probably a fan. She's probably hit the like button before you lazy bastard. So do it. Smash the like button, and let's just have a nice gosh dang stream. What the hell? Ads? Chet, what the fuck is happening here? Oh, it's because you switched it. Okay. Well, you just ruined the show. You just literally ruined the whole thing. Yeah. We'll talk about it later. I don't want to. Not right now. Just shut your mouth. Go. Just leave the room. Go that way. Don't. Nope. Okay. Bye. Anyways, ladies and gentle beings, let's talk this Book of Boba Fett. I think that generally speaking, a lot of people really like where we're at with the Book of Boba Fett. And I think that most folks still contest that episode 2 much better than episode 1. And that goes for even people that really liked episode 1. And I think the show is headed in a really cool direction. I think it's going to be really fun. But I'm just so surprised. Like, honestly, I probably shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, I probably shouldn't be shocked. But there's just, like, so many people. Like, the one thing that I saw memed a lot, that a lot of people were talking about, was the, when he's teaching them how to ride, and he's, like, doing this motion or whatever, like, on the thing. Like, I saw that memed over and over again. For whatever reason, people take this like 1 second thing out of the episode and make it so it's like this clowny situation, and that he's being ridiculous. And I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah. I see what you're saying there, but also shut your mouth, because that's goddamn ridiculous. I personally think Boba killing the game, being an absolute badass. It is what it is. What do you guys think about this situation? Like, am I crazy? Have you noticed some of this stuff? Do you think that it's not really as prevalent out there? You know? And I think that... so this is kind of the other side of this, right? If people don't like all the stuff they're doing with Tamara Morrison in the Book of Boba, and folks are like, because I see this kind of attitude espoused where a lot of people are saying he should have just remained this mysterious character. He was this badass we knew very little about. He should not have taken the helmet off as much as he does, etc., etc. I'm just like, what did you really want out of the show, I guess, is what I'm kind of confused about. And I also think that if you follow, like, characters that are like this, they always start out in a way where less is more. People develop these ideas about them, and what we knew about Boba was simply just that he was badass. But I'm like the biggest Boba, like, defender of all time, especially, like, in all the previous Star Wars movies. But it's fair to say that the dude... he dies in such a weird, ridiculous way, and he's just, like, taken out just as stupidly and goofily as... like, I just don't think you can make that argument where it's like, oh, dude, the Boba we had before all this was just a total, complete badass. He was hard as nails, and any further development that they've done on it has been horrible. Like, I just don't think that actually makes much sense, because you could make the argument that the actual development for him in the films was, like, whack. You know what I mean? Like, whack as fuck. And now it's like we're getting, like, his actual backstory. I love the vision that he went on. I love the superimposing of the old young Boba. A lot of Kamino. Like, you know, the waves of Kamino. It's really, really interesting, like, in the vision. And I wonder how you guys interpret the vision or whatever. And I'm hoping, like, a bunch of cool, fun things come out where people have these different ideas and theories about it. I just think it's really cool. But, like, I love how he's, like, in a desert. They call it the Dune Sea, which is really interesting. I wonder if at one time it was likely a big ocean or a body of water. But the fact that he's having this vision, and it's, like, all these waves, and then you see the waves of Kamino and all this stuff. Like, I love this kind of stuff. And then if you look at Boba in Clone Wars, like, did he grow to be, like, a savage, like, sort of bounty hunter? For sure. But when he was younger, like, he wanted to save those cadets. You know, Aurra Sing kind of, like, screws him over, leaves him for dead, and all these different things. Like, I just think, like, what are you exactly saying? Like, if you're saying, oh, man, this isn't Boba, like, by them doing this, they're taking away from Boba or doing all these things. I question whether or not you watched Clone Wars and you thought that was cool, and if not, and that's fair, and that's fine. You don't have to like it. But you must acknowledge that, like, you're not like, you don't have license to say you're talking about the character, and all the people that are talking about all this other stuff are not talking about the character. They have just as much as a claim to that character as a fan, and I would argue because they've been down with the story that the creators, Dave, John, Robert, that they've been down for the way the creators are taking the character. If anything, they have more license to the character. They have more ownership of the character. You know what I mean? Like, not to get all gatekeepy and fanboy on it, but that would be like if you liked Batman from the Bill Finger era, and you laid claim to Batman as that character from, like, early Joker, where he had, like, weird colors at one point. It was crazy. It was way different than when they, you know, in the Silver Age, when, like, Danny O'Neill and some of these folks, like Frank Miller and et cetera, take Batman to that darker, crazy place. That would be like saying, bro, that's not Batman. Batman has crazy looking eye things like Electro, and he's campy and all this kind of shit. Like, you don't have claim to that character, because at that point, the version of the character that you liked is just the beginning. Like, that's just a starting point. And where the people take the character from there, that sort of becomes the identity of their character. Like, Superman actually, this is kind of interesting. Superman actually has killed before, and in the Silver Age comics, he was, or maybe it was even Bronze Age, but around, like, older Superman, he actually killed Zod and a bunch of Kryptonians by, like, disintegrating them in, like, an older book, and it used to be way, way different. When people talk about, like, the Boy Scout Superman or the identity of that Superman, it's really at that turning point of Silver and Gold Age. And I think that, you know, all this is just an exercise in fandom, and it's just, like, kind of discourse, right? It's not like, I'm not saying, like, hard and fast laws here. But what I'm saying is the fan base, you know, and the people that ride with this stuff, they kind of decide what things become the identity for the character, right? So the good creatives, or the creatives that I think help to elevate the mythos or the story of a character like Batman, right, for so long, is they're able to tap into elements of the character that fans really, really identified, and mostly because a lot of these people are fans themselves, they identify with it, and then they sort of extrapolate out, put a new twist on an old lemon, and, like, sort of expand the thing that's going on with the character. So I would say in that regard with Boba, it's just really crazy that you've got, I think he's got, like, less than 2 minutes of screen time. You know what I mean? Again, a big Boba defender. I think it's like 2 minutes. It can't be more than 5 minutes of screen time in the OT. Jango and Boba, you know, I guess I'm wondering, like, did that feel wrong to people in the Clone Wars, or did that feel, like, completely acceptable and fine? You know, I would imagine most people liked it. Jango was cool. Tamara Morrison was awesome as Jango. I don't know, man. These days, you know, I try to sort of parse out, like, is there any truth to this? Is there any, like, do people have a point when they say, you know, some of these things that they say about the show and about the direction that Star Wars is going in? You know, do they have, does this have merit? And I think that for certain folks, of course, your mileage may vary. It's really up to you what this all means, et cetera, et cetera. But there are folks out there that are like purists, OT purists, purists of the prequels, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. I've never personally been that way. I've always loved Star Wars and all the different things and all the different stories and the way that all goes. So, like, for me, like, pre-TLJ, I was digging where we were at with Disney Star Wars, mostly because there was so much content and there was so much fun, and I was, like, filling in my curiosities of different places, and it all felt awesome. My problem became the fact that the films, which have to be the North Star and the anchor of everything, the films themselves, and more particularly the way Lucasfilm handled those films, not only did it not create a solid foundation from other things to be built upon, but it actually disregarded, in many respects, the work that was being done with all these ancillary and different things. You know? And so I felt like my investment and, like, my whole thing with it was, like, bad. I guess where I'm taking this, and we are going to get into all the rumors. I want to talk about the Kira show that's rumored. I want to talk about Liam Neeson coming back to be Qui-Gon in Kenobi. What I'm saying to you, and really where I want to take this conversation, is that we may be at an inflection point for Star Wars as a brand, and where this is going is going to be more Marvel-y. It is going to be more MCU, at least in the sense that they're trying to put a bunch of fun stuff in there, a bunch of connections, and they're trying to do the wish fulfillment thing. And so, you know, the people, I just feel like if you're someone that's like, they shouldn't take the helmet off of Boba, this show, I don't like it, and they're doing all this stuff, I'm not into it, I think you might get real mad when some of the other sort of nostalgic, fun, connective things come. Okay? Let's talk about Han Solo for a second. Okay? Because I want to predict something right now, and I want to sort of talk about it and extrapolate out from here. Han Solo. If Han Solo comes back, and there's a Han Solo Luke moment or something to that effect, and they're trying to really, like, you know, give you that nostalgia shot. Do you think people will say, oh, well, this show is just a bunch of goobly glob, and they throw in some cool nostalgic stuff, and that's not good enough, right? And do you think there'll be an attitude out there amongst folks that you don't need cameos or crazy things, and you would prefer it just to be Star Wars, and you're not liking the direction this is going? Because for me personally, I'm actually really, really excited by where we're going, what is happening, and the future of the possibilities when they connect these things together. So, like, if, for instance, Grand Admiral Thrawn or something of that nature is mentioned at the end of the show, and that becomes a wider scoping, crazy thing that pulls us into some big conflict, you know what I mean? I'm here for it. If, you know, like, Black Krrsantan, or is it Black Croissant? How do we say this dude's name? Black Krrsantan? BK. Let's call him BK. You got to imagine, like, let's think about that. What is that? Black Croissant? Krrsantan. But I don't think there's a T in the middle of it. Krrsantan. Croissant. Black croissant. Okay, just because I'm feeling crazy, can we get a bunch of croissant emojis in the chat? Because I didn't know that was a thing, but now I do. And we have croissant emojis. Can we get some gosh dang croissant emojis in the... Fill it up. Let's make this bitch a bakery up in here. I want to see so many croissants. You're hungry. I'm hungry. I want the buttery, flaky, beauty. Dude, why is it? It's high. All right, mods, I need help. It's hiding all the croissants. Show the croissants. Oh, dude, is YouTube gonna like? What if YouTube like deletes everybody's shit that's doing the croissants? I'll feel so bad. Put a tasteful amount of croissants into the chat. What have we just done? Oh shit! It's hiding all of them. Oh no! All right, enough of the croissants. It was a bad idea. Fuck. Oh shit. It was a bad idea. No. The croissants. Shit. Oh, man. Fuck. Okay. Well, that's what happens, I guess. Okay, back to the point. Back to the actual point. I can't believe these croissants are about to break the internet. What is that with Krrsantan? What is that? It's a cameo. It's a character from the comic books that was dope. By the way, last night on the Nerd Venture stream, we read the issue where he fights Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine, and he was hired by Jabba, and then he has to flee because he doesn't actually help Jabba. Yo, if there are any mods in here, help me out. Show these croissants. You know, this is... I really do feel like we're breaking the internet. There's so many croissant things showing up. Ryan just comes in and does one and doesn't get blocked because he's a mod. That's funny. Okay. All right. The croissants are freaking me out now. Let's stop with the croissants. Sheesh. And chat, what the fuck is up with the Spotify commercials? I know we pay you $0.25 a day, but we have enough money to afford premium. I don't want to hear commercials when I'm trying to do it. Figure it out. It's coming out of your measly paycheck. Shit. The point is this, guys. What I'm trying to say here, and I'm getting all pissed off, I'm getting frustrated on being able to say this. The point I'm trying to make is get off the fucking bus if you don't like where things are going. Here's what's happening in Star Wars. It's going to be much cooler, much more fun. Why the fuck not? The thing that was crazy about the sequels was they had 2 goddamn lightsabers. It's like they got... Now I'm fired up. We're going to walk into a world where Lucasfilm is actually going to address one of the biggest things that's wrong with Star Wars right now, and that is that it's not fun enough. There's not enough dope shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're about to fix that. And I just feel like this Boba Fett show, it's such an interesting entry into the pantheon of Star Wars stuff because of where everything's at and where the show is going. And I think the show's great, and I think it's really clever the way it's building upon things. But yes, Boba's now like a character. Boba, like, has an arc. Fucking surprise, motherfuckers, on the show called Boba Fett, the spin-off show, where they're going to talk about Boba. Yeah, they decided to make him a fucking character and give him an arc. That's what it is. Oh, my God, I can't believe this dude that had 2 minutes of screen time, didn't do anything, is now teaching natives how to ride speeders. I hate it. Why isn't he just blasting them all in the penis? No, that's not what's happening. What's happening is actually doing a character. Because I think, here's a wild fucking idea, they might do more with Boba. The character himself, Boba, as played by Tamara Morrison, may show up more in different like shows, maybe even a movie, crazy things like that. And I think that they've already caked in and built it. Like, did it not seem odd to anybody that Boba would help Din Djarin and then continue to help him, hang out with him, deal with Sasha's, DDT and bar fighting Mando ass, all of the shits, just to help out Din and the kid and all these different things? Was that not like a red flag that, like, dude, wait, what's going on here? Maybe there's something that happened to this guy that accidentally got, butt kicked into the Sarlacc pit in the most ridiculous whack ass way possible. Maybe there's like a story there. Maybe there's like something that happened. And no, the story wasn't him just getting out, taking the Sarlacc and punting the thing into fucking orbit and blasting all the sand people and killing everybody in sight. No, that's not what happened. They decided to give him what's called a story. Chet, that's your fault. I didn't even want to get that hot. I didn't even want to go there. My point is, you're allowed to feel how you feel about Boba Fett. But here's the thing. You're either on board with what they're attempting to do and where Star Wars is going, or you're not. And that's fine. If you're not, you don't have to be. But don't come shit in my cereal. Like, don't come poop on my parade. Don't come to my picnic with the ants. Just admit it. You derive enjoyment from shitting on things. That's cool. A lot of people do. It's fine. You're going to look for every single thing within Star Wars that you can. That's not perfect. And by perfect, I just mean from the fucking 70s. And you're just going to shit all over it. Well, that's fine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you to go eat worms. Not gummy worms. Long-ass, dirty nightcrawler worms. Get them all up in your guts. Get them all up in your guts. And shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Now, I want to now talk and shift the conversation. What happened? I was in such a good mood. I was feeling so light. I was feeling so light. I was feeling good. Is this Grey Hulk first appearance? Drops in 2 minutes. All right, let's try to grab this up. Mr. Fix-It. Nice. Okay. So let's talk about some other cool things that are going on in the world of Star Wars that are going to be fun. This is an interesting report. Now, right out the gate, I like Nick Santos. Nick Santos and I, we talk, we chat. He's a good dude. Definitely doesn't have a perfect track record. And so I want to treat this with take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a big old grain of salt. The truth is right now with Star Wars, where we are at as far as leaks and rumors, it's kind of interesting because that leak, and I put this in the video yesterday, we talked about it last night on the Nerdventure stream, et cetera, et cetera. That leak was proven incorrect, and therefore the best info we have is just a bunch of rumors of people that'll show up. We have no idea how this is going to play out. Now, Emilia Clarke, this is really interesting. Before we get into this story here about the Kira show, I want to discuss the possibility of her still being in the Book of Boba Fett. Okay? Because the leak was incorrect. But the Crimson Dawn thing is still in the show. And again, what did I just talk about? I talked about them doing some Marvel stuff, connecting things, having fun, fan service, wish fulfillment. Everybody, well, not everybody. Certainly not everybody. This fucking guy doesn't really want it. But a lot of fans out there want a continuation of Solo, a Star Wars story. Put a poll. You know what? Let me revise what I just said. Let me revise it here, okay? And also, everybody shut your mouth. I'm getting upset even thinking about what's being said in the chat. I'm not even looking at the chat, and I'm getting pissed off at what's in the chat. So everybody, yeah, we got about 15 seconds for Vivi. I'm trying to get on it. I'm trying to get on it right now. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and beep. All additions are gone. Hey, it's rare. You get a VV drop these days. It feels rare. Okay. So here's the deal. Let's go to Poll Town. Let's go to Poll Town. Do you want a continuation of Solo? And when I say this, what I mean is not just like a movie, but more of those characters, the story, the time period. Do you want some of that going on? I'd like to know, because here's the deal. I really don't like Solo, a Star Wars story. Like, I really don't. It's my least favorite Star Wars movie. It's the only Star Wars movie that I've only seen one time through. Like, I very much don't like that movie. But here's the deal. Despite that, I wouldn't mind if they continued that story. There were some things that I felt were cool in there. I wish there was more of that kind of stuff, and I wish that the movie... I wish a lot of things when it comes to that movie. But the story, or the characters, rather, I didn't mind. Like, honestly, I thought young Lando was cool. It had some weird choices of character in the story, but as far as the performance, yeah, it was cool. I thought it was fun. I even don't mind Alden. I think Alden was all right as Han Solo. There's all kinds of other technical issues with the movie, but the characters were fun. The time period is fun. Kira is a fun character. So I wouldn't mind at all if they continued Solo. So it's one of those weird situations where I don't really like the movie, but I still would like more of that time period. I felt like it was kind of a fun, era and a way to do things. So I think that if Lucasfilm is smart, if Lucasfilm wants to do something interesting, is probably a better way to say that, then what you might be seeing is them understanding that the fans wanted more of the Solo stuff, them understanding that those characters could live on. They're doing some of that stuff in comics. I do think Kira, and a live-action something or other with Kira, potentially with Darth Maul, especially if it was like back when her and Maul, like after Solo, with Maul training her and teaching her things about like the criminal underworld and how to pull this all together, the Empire, all that sort of stuff. That would be fun. So I think whether or not she shows up in the Book of Boba Fett, that's one thing. It could make sense, and especially if they're going to try to spin shows out, do the connective tissue thing and all that sort of stuff. It would kind of be fun if, like, you get an older Kira in Book of Boba. Oh, shit, she's still around? What's her deal? Haven't seen her in a long time. And then, all of a sudden, boom, Kira show. So let's read this. I'll just get down to the dilly-dally here. We've exclusively learned that Emilia Clarke will be returning to the role of Kira for a live-action Disney Plus series. Some of you may not have seen Solo. Kira was a friend of Han Solo's, whom he bonded with. What? They were in love. The Crimson Dawn is one of the largest crime syndicates in the Star Wars universe. They were started by Darth Maul and publicly led by Dryden Voss. After Voss's death, Kira took over the public operations. Darth Maul died sometimes after she became the full-time leader of the syndicate. So, is she doing her own show? Is it a Solo show? Because there have been a lot of rumors about that sort of stuff. Again, maybe it makes sense to have her in Boba, tease her out there, and then do a show with her. I will say, too, They've wanted to do a live-action Darth Maul thing for a long time. I believe that part of the problem there was controversies with Ray Park. Maybe they've worked that out. Like, maybe they investigated it, figured it out, have a PR strategy, and they're just going to, like, let's go. It's time. And they're going to do the thing with Maul and Kira. I would like it. I think it would be cool. So let me know what you guys think about that in chat. And let's move on to another really interesting rumor. This is coming from Small Screen Leaks. Okay? I think Small Screen Leaks has actually a pretty decent track record, but they are early into the game, meaning they have a bunch of pending reports. Okay, so they've gotten some stuff right. They were very early on a lot of the stuff with like Tom and continuing his contract, the college trilogy, et cetera, So they've been on that sort of stuff. They have a lot of stuff pending. So again, take this with a grain of salt. But Small Screen Leaks, I've talked to some people that say that, yes, they have some sources, okay? Liam Neeson returning as Qui-Gon Jinn in the Kenobi series. Something a lot of people want. This was when a source we've worked with in the past and whom I trust came to us here at Small Screen to inform us that the deal between Neeson and Lucasfilm was already done and that he would appearing as Qui-Gon Jinn in the Kenobi series. Apparently, he was in an interview. Yeah, this is from the Collider interview. Okay, so he plays dumb. This is interesting. Okay, this is kind of fun. So he plays dumb, according to Star Wars and all these different things. During the interview, Neeson asked Collider whether Star Wars is starting to fade away from the cinema landscape. They told him that it wasn't, and then they told him about a big project Lucasfilm has lined up for the future of Star Wars. One of the shows is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which is coming to Disney+. And we'll see both Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen return as Kenobi and Darth Vader. So Collider then asked him whether he'd be game to appear in the flashback in Obi-Wan Kenobi as Qui-Gon. Neeson then smiled and answered, "Sure, I'd be up for that. Yeah." And what do you make of this? Okay, so he played dumb. Here's the dealio on that. I remember Ewan McGregor saying the same thing. In the time period before he came out on stage with Kathy and they officially announced that they would be doing the Kenobi series, he was asked a lot about this, and he actually gave a similar response and answer. If you guys will recall, he'll say, like, oh, Star Wars is kind of faded. Like, is Star Wars really still popular? Like, I remember that coming from Ewan McGregor because he thought people still hated the prequels and were kind of over Star Wars, or at least that's the impression that he gave. So, for context, he said that. Here's what the source had to say about Liam Neeson coming back. He says, that deal's already done. Liam Neeson will be playing Qui-Gon Jinn in Kenobi. I then pressed this source for a bit more information on how Jinn will return in the series, and they had this to add. Honestly, I'm not 100% certain on how they'll bring the character back. It sounds like it'll be in a flashback sequence, yet they could also be thinking of bringing him back as a Force ghost. More info when I get it. Okay, so since then, there's been no real updates. Now, we've talked about this just as fans for a long, long time because this would make a lot of sense. After all, when Kenobi goes to Tatooine, he's training with Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon cannot manifest his form, but his voice can be heard. And he comes back from death, and he can teach Kenobi. That's how Kenobi is able to have the Force Ghost form after he passes. There's that, that's basically how that works. And so it's always been on the table that you will get some Qui-Gon as a voice in the Kenobi show. But of course, flashbacks and everything like that. Kenobi, dude, like, here's the thing. I think Kenobi, in a similar way to Book of Boba Fett, is going to care less about the presumed lore, and it's going to do sort of fan service and story building in its own narrative. So I think, frankly, these two dudes, Vader and Kenobi, they're going to fight again. It's going to contextualize, retcon the lines from A New Hope. Yes, that's going to happen. He's going to leave Tatooine. He's looking for Leia. He's going to be doing crazy stuff. Okay? So, again, in that sense of like, oh, I don't know, like that sort of fan, like pearl clutching thing where you're like, I don't know, I don't like it. I don't want them to do all this sort of stuff. Like, I would just have to tell you that from all indications, Lucasfilm is going to blow the doors off and go crazy with all this sort of stuff. Of course they want Liam Neeson back. Of course it would make sense for him to not only be there doing the thing, but to have flashbacks with him. 100%, dude. It would be sick. So this is being reported out there by small screen leaks. It may sort of start to be like the Han Solo thing, because the Han Solo thing started out as just a whisper on the wind with some smaller places reporting on it, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's now spun into something bigger. So that's the last thing we'll talk about as far as rumors before we get into Q&A. And I know there's a bunch of super chats. I'll get into all of them. We'll have a good time. We'll have a good time. So let's sort of track the Han Solo rumors. We talked about this, like, when did we talk about this? 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was just a whisper on the wind. I brought it up and I said, there's some people that think this could be real, but nothing really substantial. You know, dude, trust me, bro, thinks it's real. But dude, trust me, bro, thought the leaks were real too. So, I mean, like, you never know with that guy, right? Then moving from there, Nick Santos. Again, we just talked about his Amelia Clark report earlier today. Nick Santos from the Hashtag Show said he also heard that Han Solo and Harrison Ford were going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. Now, Big Screen Leaks, who has a pretty good track record, again, not perfect. None of these people are perfect. He is also saying that Han is showing up. What he said here was, the Book of Boba Fett is going to be very flashback heavy, so you never know who might show up. It's Han Solo, by the way, says this dude. Big Screen Leak replies, not just Han Solo. That's pretty wild. But it's also like kind of saying, yes, Han Solo. Like he's sort of confirming here that, yeah, that report, he's heard it too. They ask if it's going to be Ford or Alden. And he says, I'm not sure, actually. I was just told Han Solo would appear, but wasn't sure who. It's pretty wild. So to kind of put a bow on it and just kind of circle back to the point I was trying to make with this whole thing, Star Wars is doing a two-pronged attack with their new content. They are doing a lot of fan service, fun, connective stuff, a la Marvel. Again, I've been reporting on this for like 2 years, talking about how the future of Star Wars will look a lot more like the MCU. They're going to really dig into that, really do the connective tissue thing, follow through on those kind of promises. But also developing the characters, which, yes, will require retconning some of canon. It's just that's how it works. And I am personally here for it. I love Tamara Morrison Boba Fett. This is Boba Fett. When I go back and watch Empire and everything like that, I'm going to see a much younger version of the character that I know did all this other stuff in there. And I trust the creatives that are ushering this stuff in to take care and to not totally disrespect the stuff that has come before. So that's kind of where we're at. I think Star Wars has the potential to turn the corner if it continues to do this two-pronged attack really, really well. Have fun. Throw crazy shit into your content. Pull it all together. Have fun with the toys that you have. Also, develop story and create actual fun narrative within these different things. That's the key. That's the whole balance. That's where things are going. If they continue to do that well, Star Wars could turn the corner. But it's going to be a lot of reporting and hype and discussions, just like what you have in Marvel of like, oh, this character might show up. Oh, this character might have a show. Welcome to the world of hype, Star Wars fans. This is how it fucking works over at Marvel, and it's working quite well. Quiet! Okay, let's get into Q&A. Let's do some Q&A. Oh, before we do that, actually, hang on. One more thing. before we get into the Q&A. One more thing. One more thing. I just want to say, first off, thank you to everybody that has been participating in the great meme war of 2022. What's the great meme war of 2022? How the fuck do you not know? Here's what happened. TLDR. TheDenofNerds.com is a part of the BBS network. BBS. Crypto stuff. You don't like it? You're dumb. It's awesome. People can go there, make a little bit of money each day, participate in purchasing posts, liking posts, creating posts, and getting a little bit back. It's like a social network where you engage and are rewarded for your engagement with more reward. It's the future. Go to TheDenofNerds.com and do it. Here's what happened. Everybody figured out that it's awesome. And a bunch of bots and people in other countries that are, I mean, honestly, maybe just trying to make a little bit of money, you know? But fuck them, because they came in and they started spamming our site and doing all this crazy stuff, trying to game the system. They took it over with spams of NFT, Bitcoin prices, and all this other stupid shit. And so I initiated the great meme war of 2022. Go post your memes. Become a part of the meme war. And I'm buying a bunch more memes today. In fact, get me out of here. Where's the memes? Here we go. Josh Asher, episode 2. Amazing. I'm buying it. Nerdy meme. Love it. Also amazing. Love it. Purchasing. I want to get to some of the meme war ones. Oh, dude, you guys are killing it. You guys are absolutely killing it. Look at this. Look at all these awesome memes over here. Get over here. Get over here. Post nerdy memes. Participate in the meme war. See? Nerd Vengers, we march to glory. Boom. Meme war. I'm buying it. I'll spend all my goddamn money buying these posts. So get over to TheDenofNerds.com. And thank you to those that have been participating in the meme war of 2022. It's been absolutely incredible. You're legends. Thank you, and keep participating. All right, turn that off. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. All right, let's get into the Q's and the A's. Everybody, if you got something that like you really want to like yell at me about what I said about Star Wars and you want to say that I'm wrong and shit, well, you can guarantee that I read it by sending in a super chat. I can't guarantee you'll like what I have to say, but your voice will be forcibly heard through the functionality of super chats here on YouTube.com. I kind of hate it, but it's kind of pays the fucking bills and shit. So do it. Super chat it. And thank you to everybody that shows support all the time. Also, this stream and all the streams over here are brought to you by the Nerd Venger members, the amazing people you see in chat with the badge next to their names. Okay? Becoming a Nerd Venger, it supports the channel, keeps the lights here on in Nerd Venger's Tower. It's just like a $1.4 billion facility. It was way too expensive. We lose money every single day. But you can help us lose less money by becoming a Nerd Venger. Get 20% off of our Teespring merch. You get access to behind-the-scenes streams. And you also get freakish, weird things that'll start happening in your life. Like I've heard you won't have to cut your toenails as much. Your hair fills in bald spots. You catch more yellow lights as opposed to red lights. Really weird stuff. Your results may vary. Not financial advice. But become a Nerd Venger. Or shut your goddamn mouth. RF Gaming Channel says, see, hashtag save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Twitter. Nope. Michael Smith says on the $5 house, says, 4th day of the week and no MCU content? Is this boner spite? No, not at all. And we did some, didn't we do some Marvel content? Have I not made a Marvel video? Oh, I did. I made one about Andrew Garfield. And the Morbius movie and all that. I mean, yeah, it's Boba time. What do you want me to say? I've got some ideas for some cool Marvel content that we'll hopefully do soon. But we're in it right now. We're steep in the Boba time. Godard Neutron says with the $5 hollow, we all love and appreciate you, Josh. Thanks for being chief nerd. Also, and thanks for buying my posts on the BBS. Well, thank you for being over there and for being a part of the Meme War 2022. Appreciate you, bro. Justin Sofaro says, I'm okay with it so far. Don't love it as massive Boba Fett fan. My main thing is the Tusken Raider stuff could have been an email. Yeah, I think that's fair. My only complaint about it is that it feels like there's one beat missing, and that's just, why does he have such an affinity for the tribe? They were literally just beating the shit out of him and starving him. And I'm not saying you can't go from a place like that to really loving the tribe. I get it, but I would just need a little bit more there. Other than that, it's great. I just feel like there's one little beat missing. I can sort of fill in the gaps myself. He probably feels an affinity for the youngling, the tribe, how they survive out here in the harsh conditions. They did technically save him, So I can kind of fill in the gaps. But look, as a hardcore Boba person, maybe you don't love some of this stuff that's going on. I think that's totally and completely fine. But this is the story. You know what I mean? And maybe you just won't like it and you'll hate it. And I'm sorry, and that sucks. I would just say, as I'm considering myself a pretty big Boba Fett fan, and I'm loving what we're getting, dude. It feels like development. It feels like we're getting more into this character, and I think there's a ton more answers to come, So I'm kind of here for it. Han Shop first with a $5 house says, Boba Fett recognizes the fact there is more to these people than just violence and raiding, and he sees his past and his life in them. I agree with that. I think that's a fair point. I just wish it was in, enunciated a little bit more or focused upon in the episode. Because I agree with you. I think that's kind of where it's coming from. I can follow that logic. I just wish the show put it right out there on Front Street. You know what? Side note, I saw this theory floating around, and I really like it. A lot of people are saying that the Tuskens might have been kind of more chill. I know there's a lot of different tribes, but they might be a little bit more chill, and that the ones that took Anakin's mother may well have been controlled by Sidious. Just like Palpatine is sort of behind a lot of different things in the Star Wars mythos, even this might have been something that he orchestrated to help turn Anakin. Interesting theory. What do you guys think of it? Michael Phantom says with a $10 holla, says, no one will admit it, but Phasma was the Boba of the sequel trilogy. In 20 years, people will be having the same argument, but with her instead. I don't think anything will ever unite Star Wars fans. Kenobi has a shot. I think for me, the sort of attitude that I was espousing earlier and, where I'm at with Star Wars fans is, I just want to say I totally understand if you are not happy with where Star Wars is at right now. I'm not happy with where Star Wars is at right now. I try to be articulate, but also vocal with how I feel about this. But I think the just sitting back and just slinging arrows and being like, I'm going to try to pick apart every little hole with all this stuff, that's not really good, or that doesn't help or push anything forward. The direction that I see Star Wars going in is positive. I think it's going to be fun, but maybe it's not for you. You know what I mean? That's, I don't know. It's a really interesting sort of situation, and I think that time will tell. How does the show address some of the things that fans are upset about? Do we get to a point where the majority of fans really, really like the show? But I'm sitting back looking at Boba, and I'm like, damn, this is really cool. And, if people really are just dogging on this, I mean, that's interesting. I think if you like it or are open-minded to it, then this is the way. This is the way. And you should feel free to feel that way, vocalize it, and also bully people that disagree with you and punch them in the kidneys. Just if you find someone that's really clowning on Boba, maybe you can punch them in the kidney. Like, that's the only solution I could think of is like, if only people that really like the Book of Boba Fett were running around throwing snowballs, banana-flavored ones, at all the people that were retracting it and then punching them in the kidney. That's probably the only way forward for Star Wars fans. You know? Basically, and by the way, that's a joke, everybody. Calm down. Basically, we're fucked, is what I'm saying. Patrick says, can we just get the scene from the comics where Boba tells Vader that the person that blew up the Death Star's name is Skywalker? That's an interesting, Trev brought that up as well. I think a lot of people are really fond of that moment in the comics. And again, an interesting story beat that technically retcons some stuff from the trilogy. Yeah, I'd be down, dude. I think big screen leaks might be hinting at Vader actually showing up. I think that could be a part of it. Fifi says with a $10 holler says, hi, Josh. Finally watched Boba. So hyped. They brought in the twin Hutts from the expanded universe. I read as a little girl in elementary school. Hope we can see more EU characters in the show. Black Croissant. Yeah, I don't know too much about those cousins, but I just felt it was like dope to bring in the Hutts to go there. I mean, you're hearing Hutties again. The Hutts can't get killed. It just feels so cool. So like Outer Rim Star Wars. So I'm here for it. Fifi follows up and says, also, hear me out. What if we see Aelin Vel, a.k.a. Boba Fett's daughter, in this show? Oh, and take my croissant. Oh, boy. We've created a monster. KY98 says, CY actually 98 says, the only way to fix this is for them to ignore the sequels in the way that the sequels ignored the prequels. Don't place sequel connections in Kenobi. So I understand that, and I feel you, man. I think it's going to happen. You're going to get connections to the sequels. And if that's really just too triggering for you, again, like it is what it is. This is interesting. I'd like to juxtapose this moment against what is going on in the DC fandom. Because here's my thoughts here, okay? Some people that are like saying stuff like that about Boba, about the sequels. I think that some folks on the outside might say, well, the Snyder fans or the fans that are really upset about the Flash leaks are doing the same thing. They're holding on to this idea, to this hope, to this thing that is never going to happen, and therefore they're never going to enjoy it if their enjoyment is connected to that thing happening. That is not what I think is going on with Warner Brothers right now. Warner Brothers is not doing anything to try to fix and repair that relationship and to try to throw a bone to those fans. As an example, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I think I might do a full video on this, actually. There are rumors that Henry Cavill is actually going to come back and that there are hopes that he's not only in The Flash, but will be involved in the DCEU moving forward. Here's my thing. If they can get Cavill to come back, then I feel like a lot of Snyder fans should be open-minded to that and feel like that was a bone given to them. The opposite of that is happening. It feels like total disrespect, disregard, moving on completely. That's not the same thing that's what's going on in Star Wars. Like, the sequels happened, dude. They were pretty trash. Like, they were pretty trash. It was a bad look. But they happened. You know what I mean? So, if your expectation and your enjoyment of Star Wars is linked to them ignoring that, retconning that, making that disappear or whatever, I think you're unfairly going forward as a fan, and you're going to be disappointed because that's not happening. It's not the same situation as what's going on with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers' disrespect for fans and their inability to hear what fans want, it's like mind-blowing. Star Wars is pretty close. But the difference between what you have going on at Warner Brothers and what you have going on at Lucasfilm is you have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and Rodriguez trying to salvage this shit and trying to actually turn this fucking thing around and trying to bring in awesome things. and sprinkle in dope fan service. Get the wish fulfillment going. Boba is the first step in that. Technically, Mando Season 2 is the first step in that. But Boba is an essential step in that. So it's not the same thing. And I think that, like, Snyder fans that will only like DC if they restore the Snyderverse, maybe they are the exact same as the Star Wars fans that won't like Star Wars unless they retcon the sequels. But I think that though there are a lot of similarities between those two groups of people, the way the studios are handling that situation is different. And Lucasfilm, I will give them credit, is doing a better job of that. So basically what I'm saying is, if you don't like the Book of Boba Fett, if you're hell-bent on shitting on Disney all the dang time, catch me outside. Catch me outside. In the metaphorical video game sense, I will punch you in the kidney. So how about that? Man, I'm getting pissed off. I just went on a little bit of a blurb rant kind of thing, and it's pissing me off. I don't even know what's happening anymore. No Star Wars, no cry. Okay, A-Par says, cameos are needed. You can't ignore all the characters that were created, movie-wise or cartoon-wise. I expect the same for Kenobi with that struggle. Yeah, 100%. Kenobi's going to be the most fan-servicey, crazy thing you've ever seen. They'll probably do, like, some character development in it. They'll probably, like, develop the characters, which is going to be crazy. And also tie to a bunch of different things, including the sequels. I feel like that's definitely happening. The real Jesse Lee Reed says, Boba has no aspirations to be the boss. His secret plan is to install a Tusken chief on the throne, thus returning control of Mos Espa to the natives. Maybe? I don't think so, actually. I don't think so. But that would be pretty wild. But I don't think that's what's going on. I think he just wants to take over, respectfully so. The real Jess. Dan Larkin says, I'm 20 minutes behind, but I love the episode. The world and character development is top notch. The Vision Quest was dope. Get some Mayari vibes. Yeah, totally. I love the Vision Quest. I thought it was sick. And it was interesting. You don't see that kind of stuff in Star Wars that often, you know? The real Jesse Lee Reed says, Boba will lure the Crimson Dawn, Hutts, and Pikes to send all their killers to Tatooine, where they will be massacred by the United Tusken Nation. Again, I don't really think so. I really think so. I think Boba's got his own kind of stuff going on, and it's going to be tied to some wider stuff. I think he just has an affinity for the Tuskens, you know? So, yeah, I don't really see all that going on, but I could be wrong. I mean, that would be pretty wild. Cole Waller says, I don't think a lot of prequel fans and sequel fans care about the character of Boba Fett. That's fair. Kind of like how the Solo film was it necessarily needed. That is totally fair as well. It's just kind of ironic that the show is sort of aimed at an older demo, the more nostalgic fans, and yet a lot of those people seem to be having issues with the depiction of Boba. Deshpandi says, Boba Fett Chapter 2 was awesome. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. Josh, thank you for binding this galaxy together. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate the support. Dan Larkin says, Star Wars has always had connective tissue, but the bombast and camp of the MCU is not how it's done. I agree with that. It's more about going back and filling in the blank. I absolutely agree with that. I don't think you have to do the humor that the MCU does or the bombast. But I think that there's plenty that you can take from the MCU formula and bring over to Star Wars. And that's totally what they're going to do. You know, that's absolutely what they're going to do. Ryan Carter says, Han has to be in Boba, right? If he wasn't, would they be all over that denying the rumor to not kill expectations? Would they be all over the denying the rumor? I don't know. I don't know about that. I haven't seen them mention much about it at all. And I don't think they would necessarily deny it. I mean, Luke, for some of you guys, Luke was incredibly shocking. You know what I mean? We talked about Luke like all season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially after the Ahsoka episode, we were like, it's got to be Luke, right? Like, yeah. And so I think even in some ways the story might be hinting at Han coming. And I think it's going to make total sense. So I think he's in it for sure. But I don't know. There's a lot of mystery to this show and to Star Wars in general. Cadence Thompson says, Josh, if you go to 3631 in the second episode, you can hear a deeper version of Omega's theme. Really? Is that true? That's pretty cool. I would be down for Omega in the show. Omega. I think by this time she would be a total badass. Like at this point, whew. Fifi says with a $10 hollow, people are always like, lower your expectations. No, thank you. I'd rather be hyped to see Mephisto in Boba Fett instead of not being hyped for Boba. It makes me want to watch and speculate. 100%. It's the game, Fifi. That's what it's about. Speculation, fun, rumors, possibilities, wish fulfillment. You know? Like, dude, the ultimate version of that will absolutely be Han Solo coming back. If Harrison Ford really does come back, that it will absolutely be one of the wildest, craziest, most insane rumors, fulfillments, crazy things ever when it comes to Star Wars. I mean, a lot of people just straight up wouldn't believe it, dude. You know what I mean? A lot of folks just would not believe that shit would even be possible. Kalisto with a $25 holla. Holy crap, very generous. Says, I hope we see a flashback to where Boba saved Fennec. That would be cool for sure. And how they learn to trust each other. I know as a bounty hunter, her honor code may mean it's a debt to be paid for saving her life, but I think it's more than that. Yeah, I would like to see that filled out a little bit more as well. Does that have to do with the Tusken? Some of you guys really, like, I was really surprised by some of those comments about the Tuskens. I really don't see them playing all that much more of a major role. I think they play a significant role in Boba's life, but I don't think he's like setting up for the Tuskens to like take over and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. But either way, I appreciate that, Kalisto. Thank you for the support. Toby says, saw you in Doc's Arena yesterday. Yeah. Dude, awesome. Glad you was over there. I love hanging out in the arena. Oftentimes, I'll go from the tower over to the arena, back over to the tower. You know, it's always a good time, man. Love what Doc does. Camo Sav says, are we going to talk about how badass the Black Tusken is? Yeah. I believe that's a lady, and she is a total badass. 100%. Crazy. Mas says, I like dances with Massifs on Arrakis with Boba Fett. Leave him alone. The spice is with him. Blessed is the maker. That feels like some Dune shit. Mas. Is that some Dune stuff that you're talking about? You got the spice? The spice? Yeah, all right. Lucas stole that from Dune. What do you want me to say? Lucas says, Nerd Vengers Assemble! Thank you, Luca. Sheep the Y says with a $5 holla. So with Kenobi listed as coming soon, what's more likely? A March 30th debut? The finale on May the 4th or May 4th release? Sending love. Boba's lit. Yeah, thanks, Sheep. I will tell you, I think it's more likely it'll pop off around May the 4th. Like the show will come out. That's what I think. But I could be wrong, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Darth Dever says, I think it's cool how we thought Tuskens were just animals, and it's actually just different tribes. Some are actually really good people. Beautiful episode. I agree. I think that stuff's super fun, man. And look, a lot of natives, just like a lot of humans, are not a monolith. You know, there were many different tribes and sects and nations of indigenous folks here in America. Some of them had... Some of them would do oppressive things to each other. And some were more chill, you know? And some of them changed their ways over time. It's a very human thing, you know? But yeah, I think they're obviously setting up a sympathetic angle for the Tuskens in this particular tribe. My question is, are they all a little bit less ridiculous than we thought? Like, were the ones that were with Anakin's mom, did Palpatine do that? Was Palpatine doing that? 34 Virgo says, not reviewing Moon Knight trailer today? Dude, shut your mouth. Is the Moon Knight trailer out, or are you trolling? No, it would be trending by now. Whoa, that's fun. Yeah, thanks. You got me there, I guess. Machine Gun Carter says with $5 holla, if an MCU character got a show equivalent to Boba, I'd be into it because I love the MCU. But with Boba, I can't get into it because I'm just not that into the Star Wars universe. Nothing wrong with that, dude. Nothing wrong with that. If you're not really into the Star Wars universe, yes, this show's probably a little bit like slower, a little bit like what the fuck, you know. But I do still think it's gonna get absolutely crazy. For me, as a big Star Wars fan, like I'm loving this show. I feel like it's a friggin' buffet of goodness for Star Wars fans. The Exodus says Black Krrsantan versus Chewbacca in the finale. Bruh. That would be sick. I think Boba's going to get the dub on BK. And I think it might happen next episode, which is really crazy. I also think that they need to have that scar. Dude, he didn't have the scar. That scar was given to him by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Black Krrsantan has a scar from the lightsaber of Obi-Wan. And I want to see that scar. Cameron Glick says the $5 holla. I really hope we get to see the other bounty hunters in Boba, but I also really think the big bad is Kira and the Crimson Dawn. Take my money. Thank you very much, Cameron. And yeah, it could be Kira. I'm like sort of back and forth on it, man. But yeah, I think we're gonna get the Cad Bane. I think you're gonna get the Dengar. Oh man, I wish I had. We have a bunch of fun stuff to give away for you guys, so we're gonna do more giveaways next week on Monday and Tuesday. Leading up to Boba, but I've got like some sweet shirts. I've got some Boba Fett and some Bounty Hunter Pops, Funko Pops that I want to give away. So lots of fun stuff with that. So yeah. Fifi says, would you be happy with them continuing the solo story in Boba if they bring a lot of Darth Maul in it? Yeah, I know he's dead, but before New Hope. You could do it with flashbacks and things of that nature, but I kind of want both. Like I want more of the Darth Maul story filled out in its own thing, but also those characters should organically exist out there and be a part of things. Like Kira and Crimson Dawn could still be around, could still be significant. So you could do both. It's like the Hand or Hydra. Like Hydra is always going to be a part of the MCU. Like even when it's not, it's going to be. Same thing with the Hand. Like if you think of it in terms of Marvel Comics, you kind of always have these elements in play. There's always AIM, there's always the Hand, there's always Hydra, so that kind of stuff. Like, in that same sense, I think Crimson Dawn should still be around. Zachary Job says, do you think the Clone Wars style movie like the 2008 film would be successful and have the movie be KOTOR and run a spin-off KOTOR short like the Clone Wars? It's a detailed, in-depth question. I think if they... I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I feel like you could do something like that on Disney Plus, but my thing is like, why wouldn't you just do a show then? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't quite know how to answer. Dan the Man says, fun fact, Cammy and Fixer were the couple in Boba. This is true. This is true. MK Matt says, huge difference between Star Wars, DC, and even Marvel is that Star Wars content can pretty much be never be rebooted retcon. Star Wars is just too sacred. But I just disagree, man. I just disagree. Like, I think certain retcons can be awesome. Like technically Vader being Luke's father is a retcon. And I know that's different. Like I'm not up here saying like, oh, it's the same fucking thing. No, I know it's different. But like, are you really telling me that you don't want Obi-Wan and Vader to have some epic fighting in the show simply because of the sacred nature of some lines that are pretty fucking ambiguous from a movie made 40 years ago? Like, retcons are interesting. Marvel does really interesting retcons, like putting Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, putting him into the Civil War scene. I thought it was brilliant, and I think you can do stuff like that and have it totally work and have it totally play. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like, I know some people might feel that way. I don't. Star Wars is sacred for sure, but I would say the themes of Star Wars are sacred. The vibe of Star Wars, the mise en scène, like it's got to have that Western samurai movie kind of feel. That's what's more sacred than like beats in the story or things that were said that forever close off possibilities. Like I just don't feel that way. Dorian Trussell says with the $20 holla, hardcore fans will get all the references and lore in Book of Boba Fett, but casual fans will misunderstand some of what is going on in the series. Guess this benefits Star Wars YouTubers. Same is happening with Lord of the Rings show. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know about that. That's an interesting take. So are we kind of like, are you guys saying, because it seems like this is something that just kind of keeps being said in the chat, and I'm interested. Are you guys suggesting, and I think this is kind of what you're saying, that the show is more for hardcores? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. I think this is what I want to know. Do you think normies are having a hard time with Book of Boba? I want to know. Really seems like y'all are kind of implying that. That's kind of the thing. I'll leave that poll up, and I'll kind of keep going here on these chats. Our Money Martinez says with a $5 house, says Ben Affleck back as Batman only if Warner Brothers funds his indie Oscar movies. Sounds like that could be real and makes sense with all he said in the state of HW. I don't think that's it. That might have been a part of it, but I mean, Warner Brothers and Ben Affleck have had a good relationship with all kinds of different movies. I think, look, I think Ben has all sorts of reasons to want to be done with Batman, but part of it is sort of the exhaustion of working with that studio, having to say the right thing, everything that happened with Zach, you know, his personal issues and things of that nature. Yeah, so it's probably a lot. Like, dude, look, it's probably, even if you love, like, let me explain something to you. I love what I do. I do. I love my job. I love making content. I love hanging out with you guys. I love freaking out and teasing you. I love saying I'm going to punch you in the kidney. I love all of it. But even me, when I love stuff, sometimes I'm like, man, like, this is a lot. Like, before this stream this morning, I was like, damn, I'm like tired. And I'm like, just kind of not. I'm like, you know, I gotta bring my energy up for the stream and all these other things. But like, there's a moment there where you're like, man, I don't know about this. Like, this is thing. I bet people that even love their role, like Tom Holland, Mark Ruffalo, all these people, it's probably still a lot, dude. It's probably still like, I love it, but there's a lot of unsexy aspects of it. Like, press is kind of lame, you know, all these different things. So even if Ben loved the situation, there would still be like a lot of bull crap that came with it. I think the thing is, there's a lot of bull crap with his particular iteration, with BVS, with everything that happened, with Warner Brothers, with the fandom. It's like exponential, the baggage that comes with that role and his situation in it. I think he's, with The Flash, likely trying to do just one last ride, a sort of goodbye for the fans, and then he is not interested in doing it anymore. But I think that, for me personally, like, here's what I think. If things had been a little bit different, we could have a better chance of him coming back. And I would tell you that from what I've heard, within the last 9 months, there was a moment where he was much closer to doing more stuff, and that door shut for whatever reason. So, I don't know. Ben is likely done. You know, could they get him back someday? For sure. But I think he's done. You know, Cavill, different story. Cavill wants to come back, dude. Cavill wants to do this, and it's just crazy that Warner Brothers isn't letting it happen. So, Ross says, not going theory, saying this was the best, but it's very special. In 1977, they were sand people. Now in 2022, we get a deep dive into the Tuscan tribal life. It's true, and I'm here for it. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. It's developing a new, interesting side of Star Wars, you know? So, yeah, I'm with it. Qui-Gon Jinn with a $1 holla. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Armani follows up and says, Josh, Warner Brothers bought JJ for 5 years, $500 million, and he's brought and delivered nothing. His Soups project is undermining Michael B's Val Zod. Discovery save us. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. The thing about, like, JJ is really smart at getting a deal as his brand is collapsing. Or I shouldn't say collapsing, but on the decline. JJ's brand and stake and stock within, I would say, normal fans and just people that used to love his shit has been on a steady decline, and yet he got Star Wars again, and then, yes, signed that massive deal over with Warner Brothers. It reminds me a little bit of what happened with Dan and Dave from the Game of Thrones, because they got the Star Wars deal as their brand was collapsing. Now, that didn't work out because they went to Netflix. I don't think they've done shit over at Netflix, but they have this big contract. So I don't know. Like, are they going to try to wiggle out of the development deal with JJ? Are they going to try to wiggle out of the development deal with Dan and Dave? I don't think so. But I think that at some point what happened was the company realized we probably want to lay low, give these guys a little bit of time in the zeitgeist because people fucking hate these people. And we just paid them hundreds of millions of dollars. That whole situation is weird. And also, I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on, but I can't talk today. So, let's see here. Patrick says, do you think Crimson Dawn and Kira coming back could be Star Wars' attempt to redeem Solo in the eyes of fans, like Marvel attempted with bringing back Incredible Hulk film characters? Yeah, sort of. That's the idea. The idea is like, okay, so we're not going to make Solo 2. But a lot of fans like those characters, like Solo, and a lot of fans want more. So I think what it is just like with Marvel, there's this acknowledgement that we can kind of make it better, right? So the Marvels is a crazy example. Captain Marvel. Fans don't like it as much. Kind of, a lot of fans clown on it. So they get a new director, they get new writers, and they fill the cast up with a bunch more interesting stuff. Interesting folks, new kind of idea. We'll see if it works, but that's the attempt. The attempt is like, okay, we have this thing, we still want to move forward with it, but fans had issues with it. Let's sort of create it in this new scenario. I would say there's some Marvel-esque stuff going on there. Why did the Tuskens nap Anakin's mama? Well, some people think it's one of two things. It's either a vicious tribe of Tuskens or Sidious. Palpatine did it. Star Wars Obsession says, Boba having alliance with the Tuskens makes me feel like he will have some control of the trading routes in Tatooine. Boba is the new king of Tatooine. Yeah, I agree. I think like his relationship with the Tuskens could be very positive for him in a business sense. Bishop Don Juan with a $5 holler says, Josh, can I get moment? Can I get a moment? Let's remember that we know next to nothing about him as a man. So far, they've shown he's a savage even without the armor. It's true. And also, my man. 34 Virgo says, deadass Josh, no lie. I watched it Tuesday night. How can I send it to you? I got it on my WhatsApp right now. HD Moon Knight. Send it to me on Discord, bro. What you talking about? You watched it Tuesday night? Dude, get out of here. Moon Knight trailer Tuesday night? Where's it at? Where's it at? What's going on? Trev says, Boba Fett is directly adapting Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah, there's a lot of that in there. The Black Robe Tusken Omar Sharif in character in Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah, I agree that that's in there, but there's a lot of tropey stuff in there. You know what I mean? It's very like Last Samurai. It's very Dances with Wolves, Last of the Mohicans. Like there's a lot of like different parts of these kind of movies that are being adapted. For sure. Michael Smith says with a $5 house, says personally not knowing the significance of the cameo in Boba, I wasn't hyped. Ooh, brings me back to wondering about No Way Home. Interesting. Yeah, so that's fair. That is fair. I think that even if you don't know who that character is, the way they intro him is pretty dope. You know what I mean? It's very WWE. There was obvious significance there. You might not have been per se as hyped as somebody who followed the comics and knows who that character is. But nonetheless, like they did a good job of being like, yo, freaking Hutts are back in town. And then this crazy dude, like, who's this dude? That dude looks awesome. So I still think it's hype, but I guess I see what you're saying. Mando is cowboy fun. Boba is lore and nerdy. I agree. MK Matt says, I personally don't consider those things you described as retcons. I mean, more like what DC is doing by writing characters out, rebooting storylines, etc. Sure, man, but let's meet in the fucking middle here, Matt. Let's say it's the best version of a retcon. Maybe the right way to retcon. Retcon just means retroactive continuity. So I understand, like, you might view retcon through a different lens and think it's really negative. But the deal is, it's like you don't consider it a retcon. I don't know. Like, I can't quite get there with you on that. But I can agree that it's the best version of it. It's the best way to do it. It's using these sort of things in a really smart way. But that is no doubt a retcon. Because it's like this. You're in the writer's room. and you come up with this idea. But then somebody says, like, oh, well, we didn't have Jake Gyllenhaal in that Civil War scene, though. Then someone's like, well, we can just shoot a scene from an angle and retroactively put him into the continuity. That's all it means, right? So, yeah. Yeah. I put the link in the chat. No BS Moon Knight. Oh, my gosh. Are we all going to get... Are we going to get, like, all the viruses from this or something? Where's this chat? What's this guy talking about, eh? Like, you put it on Discord? Or you put it into this chat? Hey, Josh, your film school is showing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You don't talk about that. You don't say that. Winterbird with the $5 house says the flashbacks of Boba watching Jango leave Camino is his ship. Losing him and being left for dead matches up to him seeing the tribe as his family. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. All right, let's hang out in the chat a little bit. I just want to know what's going on. Is everybody all mad? Is everybody getting all fired up? You know, I'm just like, where's my Moon Knight trailer, Josh? Bro, I want the Moon Knight trailer. There is no Moon Knight trailer. You think I don't want it? You think I don't want Moon Knight? I'm all about it. You think I don't want that? So, like, help me out here, guys. Help me out here. Star Wars fans, help me out here. Yeah, Ross, for sure. Sent 2 super chats. I missed one. My bad. Let me check it out, the Exodus. My bad, bro. I saw your Black Chrysanthemum verse. Okay, here we go. In Star Wars number 82, Han and Boba briefly team up on Tatooine. Oh, shit. Maybe we get a callback to the team up in some way. Might be cool for Boba's arc. Dude, that would be awesome. I didn't know about that. That would be sick, dude. I'm into that. All right, here's the deal, Star Wars fans. I need your help. You guys help me out here. Like, do you think that there's a lot of people that are not digging Boba? Or do you think it's a very small amount of people that are very vocal? What do you think? Is it poll time USA? Is it poll time USA? Small amount. Sorry, Rogue. Let me check it out, Rogue. So, try to get you super, my friend. Where's Rogue Soul? I don't see it, dude. Oh, Rogue Soul. I'd be down for the Emilia Clarke show if Zoidberg is there. Also, I put my money on Neeson returning as a Force Ghost. Yo, that would be fun. That would be fun. Sorry I missed that chat, bro. All right, let's do this poll. Let's do this poll. What's up with Book of Boba hate? Let's see here. Many folks don't like it. Small group being loud. Josh is crazy. Everyone loves it. Okay, here we go. Boom. I just want to know what you think. Under 62% chance, small and loud. I like it. Over under 17%, the poll is over 70% accurate to the population. I love it. I love it. More percentages, though. I posted it in the Discord to chat. Where's it at? I don't see it. What the heck? Where'd you post it, dude? What are you talking about? All right, let's see here. Luke says, my opinions are so accurate, they're basically facts. And in my opinion, you're the funniest, most watchable nerd on YouTube. Much love. Hey, thanks, Luke. I appreciate you, bro. We try to have it fun over here. We try to keep it light and entertain the folks. Keep my baby off the pole, Chris Rock. Nice. He'd been trolling for months. He finally got Christmas money. My man. My man. 34 Virgo. I don't see it, brother. I don't see what the hell you are talking about, my friend. Small group being loud. 80% of you guys feel that's what's going on. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to agree with you there. Yasalamari? No, that's not a Yasalamari. And they don't live on Tatooine anyway. They're only on like one particular planet, I think. Yeah. Who would I rather watch, Josh or Will Wheaton? I haven't watched Will Wheaton in a good bit of time. So I don't know. The guys at Echo Base Network hated it, and I usually agree with them. Not this time. Huh. Were they saying some of that stuff about like Boba, be it, like him not being like actually Boba? Like, yeah. Yeah, psychic dose. That's fair. That's fair. Why are more and more breakdown channels doing the Chills voice? It drives me nuts. What's the Chills voice? What's that? What you talking about? Normies just can't keep up with Star Wars. They didn't understand why Rey wasn't in Rogue One, for fuck's sake. Why wasn't she, though? I don't even know that. Why are Boba's teeth so pearly white? Maybe they're sun bleached. Maybe when he was lying on the sands of Tatooine, like the sun bleached his teeth, and he was just like, with his teeth open like that. Next time you do call-ins, I'll give you an explanation. Thank you. We'll do call-ins tomorrow. The Bacta? Yeah, obviously, Bacta cleans your teeth, dude. Come on now. Just that they want more current story and less actual backstory. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. I want that too, but I'm loving the backstory stuff, and the train sequence was awesome. For me, it's just like one beat missing there, and honestly, like, you guys, sometimes that stuff can make or break it, but it's just so much other stuff. Like, I feel like they're delivering so well on so many levels that, like, I'm here for it. And Black Croissant is dope. And I'm just, like, getting this vibe. Like, here's my general thing is, like, I'm getting this vibe, and the hype is coming from not just the show. For me, the hype is coming from what I think the show is going to do, what I'm hearing the show is capable of, the idea of Han coming back, the idea of John and Dave actually delivering some incredible stuff that we as fans can get behind and be excited for the future. The idea of them having the fun connective tissue and speculations moving forward and having just a bunch of fun content. I mean, like, at this point, like, for real, like, if you can't, like, if none of that excites you and you're just, like, off of it, then you're not really a Star Wars fan anymore, which, again, that's fine. But then you're burnt, you're totally over it, and we can't really take yo shit seriously when it comes to this new content. Like, if you're just always going to bag on Disney Star Wars no matter what, like, that's fine. And obviously there's a place for that. Some of that content does really, really well. I'm personally over it. I'm personally over, like, hearing people like that. But I'm sure there's still an audience for it. But my thing is, I can't then include you in the conversation when I start to talk about fans. Like, because that's part of what I do is sort of get a metric and get a read on where the fan base is at, where's the social media at. And if you're one of those kind of peeps, it's cool, but you're sort of, you got to go sit at the kids' table. Like, you're not a part of the fans when I'm talking about the fans. You know what I mean? 34 Virgo says, it says screen culture. Screen culture does fake shit all the time. Okay, bet me 40K nerd coin. I can tell you frame by frame the trailer. I posted it to chat. Okay, let me call in and tell you what type. No, but 34 Virgo, they make fake trailers. Screen Culture does fake trailers all the time. All the time. Appreciate you, though. Vashon Creed says, between his time with the Tuskens and his time as a crime lord, he kicked ass in Mando. So why wasn't he weak then? So why wasn't he weak then? Well, do you think he was weak in episode 2? Because I don't. I felt like he was pretty strong. You know what I mean? I think there could be an explanation for why he was weaker in episode 1, because his back to healing wasn't complete. A lot of folks have this theory that maybe he's deteriorating as a natural born clone. And so that's why he keeps going back into the back to. That's possible. But did he seem weak in episode 2? Didn't seem weak to me. Seemed super badass. You know? So why wasn't he weak at the moment in Book of Boba Fett? Or rather in Mando? I think he was probably healed up. He was feeling good. Just coming off of his crazy time with the Tuskens. And he was good to go, man. We also don't know about him saving Fennec. It's possible, like, when he saved Fennec, he was already set up and already healing on Bacta, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think... like, no offense, like, it's cool. It's cool that you can, that you have that thought and that idea. But, like, I just feel like that's, is that really how people are feeling? Like, I mean, yeah, he was super badass in episode 5 or whatever it was in Mando. But, yeah, I don't know. Just crazy. I just feel like, again, when I hear people like Vashon like bring this up, it's just I'm trying to like sort of parse out, like, is this something that a lot of folks are feeling, or is this just a few, like, is that just a curiosity you have, or it's like, are you coming at this from an angle where you're already looking for reasons not to like it? Like, I guess I just wish I knew more. Yeah, so you're saying you still love the show and it just seems like a plot point. That's fair. You know? Maybe I'm just so triggered by Star Wars fans. Mike is popping? Is it? Is it popping? Papa locking? I'll turn it down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just so triggered by Star Wars fans that I'm like, man, I can't with y'all. Luke Long says, hey, Josh, found you from Nerd Theory, and now you're my fave. Love all the videos. Keep it up. Hey, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. That's very kind. That's very kind. Mouse Cop says, can't wait for you and Theory to talk about this on Nerd Theory. Hashtag Luke Soka. Indeed, Luke Soka for life. Luke Soka for life. All right, guys, I got to get on out of here. I got some videos to make. I'm thinking about making one about Henry Cavill and about the whole situation. You know, with all that. Star Wars Obsession says, Josh, did you change your opinion about Boba Fett after last episode? Do you think Boba is savage again and ready for war? Twin Huts, heavy litter. Yeah, they were heavy in that litter, huh? I never thought it was Beta Fett. I just thought it was hilarious. You know what I mean? Luke Soka is a disgusting idea. No, it's not. Ryan, open up your mind. Open up your mind. But yeah, going back to Star Wars Obsession, I never thought it was Beta Fett. I just thought that was hilarious. And all I wanted to do, like, in the situation when I sat down with Theory, like, he got really defensive. I wasn't trying to attack the show. I was trying to bring up the perspective of folks that were attacking the show. Mostly for the sake of conversation and for making content. You know? So, to me, I just wanted to bring that up, and also I found it to be hilarious. He was on an arc. We're showing him grow. You know what I mean? So, I'm with it. He got super defensive, I know. He was like, dude, fucking, he did, you know what? He did that same thing that a lot of people always do. Where it's like, I bring up, I'm like, well, on Rotten Tomatoes, with this compared to all these other things, this, and people are like, fuck Rotten Tomatoes. It means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Rotten Tomatoes? How do we even know how many people went over there? How many people even filled that out? You know? And it's like, yo, we're talking about shit, dog. Like, what do you want me to say? Oh, yeah, you right, though. Yo, you right. Fuck that. Let's talk about something else. Nah, you right. Rotten Tomatoes? Fuck them. That doesn't count. Yo, you right. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. We're trying to have a conversation. But I love that guy, so it's all good. Dorian Trussell says, should invite Fellowship of Fans on Nerd Theory. Talk about two of the most popular franchises, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. They have private Discord to contact them. Cool. I'm in a little bit of contact with Nerd of the Rings, and I'm hoping to have him on the podcast soon, for sure. So, a large amount of Phantom Menace just not engaging due to The Last Jedi, Gina, etc. The ones that do watch will be dogging it throughout. Take my money. But here's the thing. I can like understand that shit. Like, here's the thing. I agree the Gina thing was stupid as fuck. I agree Star Wars and Lucasfilm have done horrible last year. They held a whole bunch of L's. Their lack of communication was really shitty. I can get down with that. But then, because of all that, you're just going to deride the show? That makes me think you don't even really believe in the other things you're talking about. It's of convenience or financial gain. Feels like a grift. Like, speak your shit and speak it honestly. But when it starts to like get into this territory of like, how can I find the thing in the show that fits my narrative, and how do I dog on this, or because I don't like this, now I'm going to come at it with a certain type of angle or whatever. That's fine, but it just takes away the credibility of all the other shit you said. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You get what I'm saying? Like, speak your shit. You know? But if you're coming at it from this, like, narrative angle, it just sort of excludes you from being taken serious. It's like, here's what this person thinks about this. Here we go again. Whose ratings do you trust? IGN, IMDb? Well, the way I look at all this sort of stuff is that it's just it's a data point. It's a metric. So, like, the reason that Rotten Tomatoes is interesting to me is because everybody has the same, like, anytime something happens and you get that aggregate Rotten Tomatoes score, what you have is the same amount of people that have the opportunity as a critic and as an audience member to go have their voice be heard. And therefore, what you're getting is a measure of folks that were engaged in the project or the property and what they think about it at the time. And it is because it's always the same amount of folks that can do this, that, second, and third, you just get a difference. So if something has an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes of a 91%, and then something within that same vertical, seemingly with the same fans that gave that 91% there to rate it, and it gets an 81%, that means something. Does it mean the sky is falling? No, but it is a data point. It is a trend. It indicates a change. You see what I mean? Does that make sense? Luke Soka Rule 34, sure. Luke Soka in canon? No. Dude, Luke Soka in all the canon. All of it. I want Luke Soka to live happily ever after in the world between worlds. And I want them to pop up in every single Star Wars thing from now on. Like, you open up a portal, and they're just in there making out. Making out. Just sucking face. You know? Yeah. So how about that? Stop hurting us with your film school words. No! Jedi Mike, I will not stop. I will not stop. All right, let's get out of here before I lose my mind, huh? Star Wars is... This is how fun Star Wars is. Even when you like something and you want to talk about the thing you like, it's such a fucking enjoyable conversation. Elisa says, Luke Soko forever with 3 hearts. Gross. All right, guys, we're getting on out of here. Much love to you all. Go to thedenofnerds.com and take part in the great meme war of 2022. More memes. More nerdy posts. More hype and fun. Yeah. Yeah. Not reading member chats? Bro, I'm sorry, they don't pop up. If they popped up in this area where I read all the chats from, I would read them. And then they disappear in this chat. I don't know what you want me to do. I literally can't access them. How am I supposed to read them when I can't access them? I didn't invent YouTube. I didn't invent Google. My bad. Sheesh. And also thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate you. Much love. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. Unless you're one of these buttholes that's really dogging on Boba. I hope you have a bad day. I hope you step on a crack. I hope that your headphone shorts. I hope that you can't catch the bus. I hope a fucking small ass rain cloud follows you around and trickles down on your face all day, even indoors. See ya. Oh, Mike, that's an interesting one. Mike says Boba is becoming addicted to Bacta. I missed that one. I like that. I like that. I'm Ricky Bobby, and if you don't like Boba Fett, fuck you. I'm all jacked up on back to juice, my man. Look, usually I'm like, is everybody gone and did everybody leave? But let's be real, y'all waiting for it. Everybody's waiting for the fucking croissants. All right, look, I'll give you guys a little something here, okay? This is a little bit behind the scenes stuff, some real ass shit for all of you that are still here. And if you're not a real one, get the fuck out of here. Turn it off. Turn it off. Get out of here. I'll tell you guys some real ass shit. Some days, I'm getting ready for the stream, and I'm like, this is gonna be a good one. Some days, I'm getting ready for the stream, and I'm like, is my brain on? What is going on? Why do I feel so dumb? Why am I What's happening with my brain parts? Okay. Guess what kind of day today was? Take a little guess. Fill it out in a little card. Put it in the little box as you're exiting the tower. What do you think? What kind of a day do you think today was? Anyway, at least we didn't glitch out. At least we didn't.